Hi, Jewish Mom. Over Sukkot, there was a really interesting article in Family First magazine. It was a mother of young children who writes about she loves her children and she loves being a mother, but on the other hand, she feels like she has lost herself. She's lost who she is, aside from being a mother. So Family First did something I think was really wonderful. They had a bunch of experts respond to this mother. Um, and um, and it was really interesting reading. I think my favorite response so far to this article, to this young mother's article, was now a letter to the editor, which appeared this past week, written by someone anonymously. She calls herself a fellow mother. Okay, this is what she writes. Your article struck a deep chord with me. When my kids were young, I had 6 children under 6. I remember wondering what the purpose of it all is, when each day was a blur of spills, tears, and mess. Anyone can relate? Okay. I'd love to tell young mothers out there, motherhood is very different from anything you've done until now. Work has a beginning and an end. The goals are attainable, and there's a paycheck each month. Mothering, though, has no definable end. The goals are very long term, and there's certainly no satisfying paycheck waiting. I remember a mother when said to me, have you ever seen the bottom of the laundry basket? You've never seen the bottom of the laundry basket, like you never get there, which is just a sense of like how motherhood, how we don't have the same sense of accomplishment that we have in our mothering tasks as people do with like their various work projects. Let's reframe, she writes. You're at the helm of a fledgling .com startup with potential for explosive growth. But like every new undertaking, it'll take a lot. It'll take a huge amount of work for that growth to happen. I'm going to read this again. Let's reframe. You are Jewish mom at the helm of a fledgling .com startup with potential for explosive growth. That's your family, okay? But like every new undertaking, it'll take a huge amount of work for that growth to happen. You are building your binyan de'ad, your eternal home. You're building your binyan de'ad, knowing this minor and major irritations and those endless days of drudgery can be taken in stride. If you can take them as the necessary work for creating something worthwhile and eternal, you'll find the inner resources to cope without becoming resentful. Instead of feeling robbed of your inner self, try to remember that you're putting these integral parts of yourself on hold while you take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime. Recently I told you this summer I was with my husband in Montreal visiting my brother-in-law. And when we were there, we were hosted by some Belzer families, Belzer Hasidim. So the family that we ate at Friday night. So this really lovely family, and the mother, she has 8 children. Seven of whom are married, and she has this beautiful kind of photo of every family that came from her, right? So 7 really families, married children with her grandchildren, and then the one unmarried son, I think, who's 18 years old. And my husband said, like, you want one? He said to me, you want one of those one day? Of Bezrat Hashem, I would love one of those one day. That's our binyan de'ad. Um, so she writes, once you can accept your role with joy, try to think practically. Where is the breakdown happening? Where is your difficulty? You say your afternoons are difficult. What part of the afternoon? Your mornings are difficult. What aspect of the mornings? Start to implement changes at those times. If your children get up early, try to find a way to nap or go to bed early. I know a mother whose 2 young children wake up at the crack of dawn. She takes them out in a double stroller each morning for a brisk walk that invigorates her and occupies them. So instead of like cursing the difficulty, try and find some way within that specific difficulty in your mothering life to make it easier. There's no right or wrong here, only what works for you. Some mothers are in the park daily, feeding their children a cold supper, but avoiding the mess their children would make at home. That's what I do every day. I pick up my kids at Gun and I take them out for like a picnic lunch. Very simple, but it's nice. Also gets me out of the house. They enjoy it. I know a mother who buys special Erev Shabbos toys for her children to play with on hectic Fridays. Celebrate your successes. Every day of motherhood brings 1,000 challenges. Looking back over the day and seeing how many times you responded with a smile will help you appreciate what an incredible success you are and the patience and resilience you're developing. Just on one note, Dina Friedman, she suggests, paying attention to our successes. So every day, every morning now, I mentioned to myself three accomplishments from the previous day. And it can be things that are so simple, that I put food on food on the table for dinner, that I got this one to the occupational therapist, that I picked up this one's prescription, whatever it has to be, like that. The things that I accomplished. And as mothers, there's so many things we accomplish, but we tend not to pay attention to them. We should pay attention to them. Okay. Try cutting housework down to a bare minimum. At this stage, your children don't care if their clothing is pressed and folded. It makes no difference to them if supper is gourmet or simple. What they really need is a mother with a smile. Someone once told me, no matter what, laundry must get folded. I didn't want to tell her, but my laundry was sitting proudly in 2 bins, clean white and clean colored. Every morning, everyone took out what they needed. An organized, spanking clean home is a pleasure, but it's a means to an end. And it shouldn't entail sacrificing the children or the mother. Free yourself up to focus on the main challenge at hand, building your family. Finally, find a resource that fills you with inspiration. I personally found it in a set of chinuch tapes on education and children's education that gave me a sense of elevation in motherhood. That for me as Rabbi Niven kind of kept me above my, keep me thinking about the big picture. Diapers and spilled sippy cups are singularly uninspiring, and as you wade through messes and fights, it's hard to remember that this is a calling. Finding something to remind you of this will elevate your drudgery into avodat Hashem, into serving Hashem. You are embarking on an incredible life-altering journey. Building is hard work involving lots of blood, sweat, and tears, but ultimately, with Hashem's help, you'll be able to see the edifice you've erected. Okay. So, in conclusion, Jewish mom, we are now, it's not easy. It's not easy being a mother, especially of young children. And it's so important that when we're doing what we're doing, to do things to pull us out of pull us out of the small-minded focus on the details, on the mess and the fighting and the things that bring us down. Okay, do what you can to focus on the big picture, on the picture like that grandmother had of the 8 children she'd raised, with their 7 of them, with their families, with the families that they have built, her binyan adead, her eternal structure, which she has built through her own blood, sweat, and tears, through her own working for years of Mesiut Nefesh for her own family. And also, I think it's so important to find some way to pull yourself out of the small kind of focus on the details of just getting through the day. Something to pull yourself up. For many of us, that's learning some kind of spiritual teaching, some kind of Torah learning, something to pull yourself up. For me, it's Rabbi Niven. In the past, it's been classes by Dina Friedman. But there's so many different amazing teachers out there. And just accessing these people who can bring you up to a higher way, seeing things maybe from God's point of view, how God is seeing you from above, and not just you seeing the mess you're seeing from eye level. Okay, and also keep in mind, we feel such pressure to keep up with that mother and that mother, to have a house as neat as theirs and have a dinner as nice as theirs. But really, our main focus when we're in the intensive time, when the intensive period of raising young children. I've been in that intensive period of raising young children actually for the past 19 years. Then really go easy on ourselves. Really our top priority is a mother with a smile, and that's really hard to do. And I think that when we give permission to ours, if we need it, when we give permission to ourselves, not to fold the laundry, whatever kind of way in which we can make things easier for ourselves, then do it. This our top priority is not Mevesrim, when we're grandmothers, no one's gonna look back and is gonna remember, oh, what beautiful clean floor she had. you know. They're gonna remember like that a mother who was warm, who was there for them as much as possible. Okay, on that note, I want to bless, love you, Juice Moms, with an amazing week called Dip.